Hi, welcome to Soul Food, and today I hope you've enjoyed doing your meals that you've done throughout the week. Today we're going to show you an easy scone or scone mix, whatever you want to call it. Just to start off, it's a bit similar to the method we used when we was doing our pastry for our cheese and onion pie. So I've already rubbed the margarine into the flour to save a little bit of time. The only difference is, with pastry it's half fat to flour, but with the scone mix it's a quarter of fat to flour. So I've put, in all terms, a pound of flour in here, or 400 grams of flour, and I've added 100 grams of margarine. Okay? Then you add half the sugar to your margarine, so there's 50 grams of sugar, and about between half and 3/4 pint of milk. Now the milk, like I said with the pastry when we're adding water, it all depends on the warmth of your hands, so we add the milk slowly. And we're just going to use a plain fluted cutter. If you don't have a cutter, you can make your own with your tin of tomatoes we gave you. You cut the top off, then cut the bottom off, wash it out, take the paper off. You've got an easy to use pastry cutter. So this is what we're going to do. The margarine and the flour have been incorporated to that sandy texture. Now we're going to make a bay in the middle, and we're going to add our sugar into the well, like that. Okay? Then we're going to add a little bit of the milk just to the sugar in the middle. So just a little bit to cover it, and then with your finger, just stir it round until all that sugar's dissolved. If you have caster sugar, it will take a lot quicker than granulated, but once you start to, the grains, it'll only take a few seconds. It's all incorporated. If you was to make sultana scones, we'd add the sultanas now, and it's probably about the same amount of the margarine of sultanas you've had, so 100 grams of sultanas. A little tip for you, if you're adding sultanas, wash them first. Just wash them and let them soak, just for about 10 minutes, then drain the water away, just get rid of any bits and bobs, and helps with this. So like the pastry, we fold round with our mix. It just stops you getting all that stuck pastry on your hand at the first move. And we just keep moving it around, and it's very, very similar to the pastry. We don't want to overwork our mix, so we add our milk a little bit slowly. We want to work it as least as possible till it all starts coming together to form that pastry kind of mix. And again, it doesn't matter if it's slightly wet, because we're going to be adding flour to roll out anyway. You see that's all starting to come together to form a dough. Once you're there, when it's all mixed in, give it another couple of turns, and that is about ready. See, it's quite wet because I'm going to add in lots of flour. If it's too dry now and we're adding flour, then you'll end up with just a really dry scone mix. Just wash my hands for 2 seconds. You can even make chocolate scones. If you want to make chocolate scones, just take, if you're using that 400 gram, if you take 100 gram of flour out and incorporate 100 gram of cocoa powder in there, you can make chocolate scones. So the mix is done. We're going to use a little bit of the milk at the end to brush. I've got a tray that I've just dusted on some parchment paper. If you've not got any parchment paper, just make sure that you grease the tray and line the tray. That's easy enough. Right, so flour onto the table, like the pastry. Now we're not going to roll this very much, we're just going to get a bit of a shape when it's on the table. A lot of people make a mistake of rolling it too thin, and then it ends up a bit like a biscuit. So we just get our shape down. Even if you don't have a rolling pin, you know, you can do without one, to be honest, and just pat it down. So flour on top, on the pin, and you want them about an inch thick, so that is probably about the right thickness. Another little tip, when you're using your cutter, make sure you dip it in flour as well. It just gives it an easy cut. Right, from the edges we cut, twist, and then another little tip is turn it upside down when you put it on. because the table's more even, you'll get a more even rise on your scone. So we try and go as tight to the edges as we can, leave a gap on the tray, just to allow it to rise. We'll try and get as many as we can in one go. Now once you've got all them, we just put this together gently. Try not to overwork it. We just put it together back gently. Form your shape again. And then we just roll out again. Same thickness. Flour in to the edges. Away we go and flip. So as you can see, from about £1, I've not made massive scones, fairly easy but beautiful for an afternoon tea with some cream and jam. Now, milk, you can use egg, but if you're using egg, just remember that you're adding an allergen. So with the milk, we've already got milk in there anyway. We just lightly brush the top. Of each of the scones. And then we're going to bake these. What I'm going to do, I'm going to let them rest for about 10 to 15 minutes before I put them in the oven. So as you can see, the best way to have these is straight out of the oven while they're hot, break it in half. You can see the heat coming out of them, and they're cooked all the way through. Like I said before, brown on the bottom, and just sprinkle a bit of icing sugar. Great with jam, great with cream, just jam and butter, however you like. Enjoy.